Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about how to become the woman of your dreams. Listen, I have been feeling an itch for a true glow up, like more than a winter arc, more than just locking in, even though your glow up is going to require you to lock in and also really enter your winter arc and focus on yourself and things like that. But maybe this is because I'm turning 30 and like, I don't even know, 2.5 weeks. November 5th is my birthday. And I just feel like I am ready to really be intentional with stepping into another dream version of myself. The woman that I dream to be of when I allow myself to dream. And I have gone through many phases in my life where I've had this glow up, like this intentional glow up, and I was working towards things. And I feel like I haven't really been having any sort of North Star, any sort of like glow up goals in a really long time. And that's for a few reasons. The past few years, I feel like I have really worked out of deep patterns and healed a lot. I talk about a lot of healing work on my podcast. If you're new here on my second channel, it's literally called The Glow Up Secrets, and it's really all about the internal glow up. So I feel like I have spent a lot of time doing that and kind of like slowing things down and working out of burnout and working out of perfectionism and things like that, which sometimes pull you away from the identity of I'm glowing up and I'm becoming this new version of myself. But also on the flip side, I definitely have lived out my dream life. I have become the woman of my dreams from when I was 18, 19, 20, moving into my 20s. Even though I was working on myself and I was healing through some of those years, I did get the dream job. I'm a podcaster, I'm a YouTuber, I have the relationship that I've been dying to have with myself. I feel like I've glowed up physically. I did achieve a lot of things, even when it comes to like finances and stuff. And so sometimes life doesn't require you to have a glow up. And I guess I'm just sharing that for a few reasons. One being, it's okay that you've had those seasons of not doing the glow up, and for whatever reason that was needed in your path, in your life journey. But also to know that not every part of your life always and forever needs to be this consistent self-improvement. And I think you know when it's time for a glow up. I feel like intuitively you will feel it. You will be outgrowing habits, you'll be outgrowing spaces, you will have literal changes in your life. The past year has been very transformative for me. I went through a deep healing journey when it comes to like my physical health. I lost my mom, so I have been doing lots of grieving. I entered a relationship that was so aligned and is really going to be carrying me into my 30s in a new way. And so there's just been a lot of changes in which I've already started to move towards the version of me who lives out some of these changes. But I think it's time to kind of be a little bit more intentional. And the way I am looking at this glow up is really thinking about this time next year. And right now it's end of October almost, right? This time next year, or even like the summertime, who am I going to be when I picture myself? Like, what woman am I? What habits do I have? What career goals have I accomplished? How am I living my life? How do I feel about myself? These are the things that I have asked myself and I have written out that allow me to now start working towards glowing up and becoming this version of myself. I also think it's a good time to start a glow up when you actually feel called and excited about it. I was telling my friend how I feel like I've just not had this like motivation and inspiration for a really long time to like work towards something, because like I said, I haven't really been working towards any sort of North Star. Of course, I'm always hitting goals and I'm showing up for myself. I'm doing my health and wellness and I have my business, but there hasn't been like anything like brewing that's big. But after journaling and mood boarding and things like that, there are definitely things that I am ready to work towards that make me excited. So this video, I'm gonna walk you through some of the core pillars that you can think of when it comes to stepping into that dream version of yourself. I'll show you some mood boards that I made for myself, and I will of course have that template for you guys as well. But the most important thing even outside of the fun setting goals and like vision boarding and thinking about that new version of you that has everything that they want in the next year type of thing, I really want to talk about and bring your focus to the things that will get in the way of you actually becoming the dream version of you, and realistically probably some of the things that have still kept you stuck and not moving towards your dream life. Also, I put like one of my vision boards, I actually made 3 of them, behind me on my TV, so hopefully this is coming across like nice and aesthetic and cool. I figured I would just put something on the background of my TV because I didn't want to sit in my bed today. So let's talk about the 3 core pillars of becoming the dream woman, the dream version of yourself. And if you're a guy watching this, the dream man. I've broken it down into wellness, lifestyle, and career / like business and finances, because I feel like there's a lot of like habit stuff and diet and routines and even mental health stuff that can fall in the category of wellness. And then lifestyle could be like material things. If you want a car, you want a new place, a certain aesthetic, like the way you do your hair, your makeup, your outfits, all those things. And also your relationships, like friendships, all those can go in the category of lifestyle. And then I just have like career, business. So that's like any financial goals, if you want to change your career, if you're launching something, all of that. Now, I'm just gonna share some of the things that I am focusing on, but the dream version of you is gonna look different than the dream version of myself, and you can create different categories and things that you want to accomplish in your life. Maybe relationships or friendships is like your top priority and you already have like most of your wellness locked in. That's totally fine to have that be your focus. And what you will find when it comes to forming habits, which I'll talk about, one habit typically leads to a healthier one naturally without you having to write down a million goals for yourself. So for me, when I think about the dream version of me, 30s, 30, flirty, and thriving. If you know what movie that is from, please comment down below. That is one of my favorite movies. Oh my gosh. And I can't believe like I'm actually now 30 years old. Like I used to watch that movie when I was so young. Anyways, I have written out a bunch of things that I'm gonna be working on in the next year. So I personally want to get back into my gym girl era, the way that I was honestly like in college, minus the perfectionist mindset and the all or nothing thinking, which maybe that'll be in a different video for a different time, but I really want to get back into like my fit era. I feel like I have been coasting for valid reasons and needed reasons for the past like few years, but I feel such a call to go back into that era. And I don't even want to call it an era because I just want that to be more of a lifestyle for me. And I just feel like the best version of myself, that dream woman, she really does glow from the inside out. And there is no doubt that you having some sort of fitness and health regimen is going to not only allow you to be glowed up, but feel your absolute best. And that's going to trickle down to everything. That's why I focus on wellness and like movement and diet and things like that first, because realistically, if you're just not pouring into yourself, it's gonna be hard for you to show up in other areas of your life. So that is like my main thing. Another thing would be cleaner eating. I hate to kind of use that word because that can fall into the category of like EDs and stuff, which I have had in the past, but I have a balanced relationship, very healthy relationship now with food. So I feel fine like saying those words, but cleaner eating, meal prepping, drinking water, cooking more. I feel like I am just so ready to step into that version of me who prioritizes that. And I have been slowly doing that, but I definitely want to focus on that. I want to see myself next year really having a consistent weekly cycle of doing those things and meal prepping, making food. It doesn't always have to be super strict, but doing that more. Another thing for me is solid sleep hygiene, which I've really been working on. But my sleep is so important for every other area of my life, so that's something I'm gonna be focusing on as well. Having less caffeine and timing it at different times, especially around my period. I am trying to wean off of it at least like around my cycle, because I definitely feel those symptoms when I have too much caffeine around my cycle. Having more silent but productive mornings, especially now that the mornings are really dark for a very long time, I feel like it's good for reflection and slowing things down, but also getting on my grind in a way, because I feel like this is the best time to do it when the world feels like it's asleep still. Also, really having that relationship with nature and seasonal living is very important to me, and also lots of self-care nights and rituals and things like that. So that is how I want to see myself be indulged in the year to come. Now, what I did, as you can see, is I made a vision board based off of those things that I have written down for myself. That way it reminds me visually. And then what I'm actually gonna do, like this is digital and I usually just put it on my desktop and things like that, but I'm actually going to print it out the way that I used to and have it in front of me, like in my room, wherever I need, because I want these things to be sent into my subconscious mind. For me, the way my brain works is that if things are out of sight, they're out of mind. And so I always want to be reminded of all of my goals and the things that I know make me feel the best as I'm building habits. When you're building habits, none of these things are really automatic or in the forefront of your mind until they become so, and then you can move on to different goals. So that's what I made for my vision board. I just have some healthy meals and saunas, self-care, moving my body, all that kind of stuff. Now moving on to lifestyle, this is my lifestyle vision board. So this is actually like where my call for this glow up really came from, is changing some like lifestyle stuff and the way that I present myself. I talked about that in last week's video on putting more effort and commitment into myself, self-care, and the way that I look and things like that. And also just like up leveling some of like my environment. And I feel like it's been a long time since I've had certain goals like this, because I've been healing, and then I also like lived out a lot of my dream life as well. And I'm also somebody who doesn't need to always have like luxury things and very materialistic goals, whether that's physical or external. But I feel a call to having a few things change, and we are so allowed to have these things change. So I will share some of the things that I am gonna be hopefully seeing myself have and live out this time next year. I really want a new car. Now listen, I don't know if you can really see it, but I have like a Porsche on there. I don't suspect that I'm gonna be getting a Porsche next year, but I just want something that like gives me that vibe. I'm actually not somebody who's super tied down to like, I need a Range Rover, I need a Porsche. There are so many nice affordable cars that are so luxury now. So I'm not super tied to it, but I do feel the calling to wanting a car. Now, I'm also moving out of the city, which is why I know that I'm gonna be like wanting one. And I feel like it's been a really long time. I sold my car moving to the city and I got more financially stable and things like that. So I feel like it's such a good reward for myself that I'll be working towards it. I will feel really accomplished when getting it. Another huge thing is definitely putting effort into my looks and changing up my style a little bit more, doing more with my hair and experimenting, and just feeling a bit of the mature 30s like glow up energy for myself. Past year has been filled with sickness and grief, and also just like getting back in the routine of things that I kind of like didn't have the time or energy to put too much of that effort into myself. But now I feel like I'm in a space where I want to, and yeah, I just want to let that be a part of my glow up. Another thing is really focusing on sisterhood, and I feel like a lot of my friendships are changing this year or this past year naturally, and I'm starting to connect with people who I feel are the ones that are going to be in my life for a long time, although I still have some friends that will like always be my life. But that is something that I want to see myself kind of live in, is these intentional friendships, sisterhood, and making time for those friendships. Now I have other goals that I'm not gonna like share every single detail of when it comes to things in my relationship and the goals that we have together, but just know that they are all a part of that lifestyle. And guys, listen, I love romanticizing my life and feeling good, and I want my life to look like the driving to Pilates in my nice car, going to cool coffee shops, taking Theo for a walk in nature, and everything look and feel good. Will it be like that always and perfectly? Absolutely not, but I want that for my life, and I can absolutely get that if I work towards it and I allow myself to have that. The dream version of you does not hold back. The dream version of you does not think that her dreams are too small. Next category is business, and as you can see, I put a bunch of things that represent to me what energy and identity that I want to be in this time next year when it comes to my business. Obviously, I have a lot of just like laptops and things like that because I work for myself. I'm gonna be launching a journal line. I am gonna be doing more one-on-one coaching again, which I always have available, by the way, the one-on-one sessions, but this past year has just been a lot that I haven't been able to take on that many clients, but I really love working with you guys and working on your habits and glowing up and being there emotionally for you guys as well. So if you're ever interested, all the details will always be in my description, but that's something that I want to do more of essentially. And of course I have other projects in the works, but I just see myself this time next year having those things be launched and me step into more of that identity of the businesswoman, of, you know, really knowing my worth and knowing my brand and allowing it to grow and evolve and being really happy about it as well. So after we've visioned out who we want to be in all different categories of our lives, now it's time to really step into that version and take those steps and change our habits essentially. That's what it comes down to. So I'm gonna share with you how I really start to make way on any of my goals in my life and actually change. And this is from somebody who has struggled countless times with self-sabotage and perfectionism and starting and stopping things and getting in my head about things and dreaming and not doing, okay? So this is what personally worked for me and I feel like is very realistic. What I like to do, knowing all of my goals and all the things, I know that I'm not gonna be able to do all these things all at once. So instead, what I like to do on a month-to-month basis is what I like to call having a North Star. And my North Star for the month is really that one big change that I am working towards making. So maybe for my business, it's my journal series, making sure that that gets launched, or maybe it's I really want to start getting back into the gym and be this gym girl again. Maybe it's working on my sleep or my diet, but whatever it is, I really only focus on that one thing and I forget all the rest. And what I mean by forgetting all the rest, I never really forget all the things that I want to be doing and I know I should be doing, like eating clean and moving my body and going out into nature, and then also working on the million other things for my business and how I want this car or I want a new dream place. Like, don't worry about forgetting all those things because you'll always have it in the back of your mind, but we do need to have one main focus every single month or we're going to not achieve anything. And I genuinely believe that we underestimate how long it actually takes to change a habit. And that's because there's so many things that play a role in your habit that you are trying to change or like step into. Whether it's you just doing trial and error and figuring out the best way to actually execute that habit, because a lot of the times we tell ourselves that we're going to start this habit on Monday, but we haven't time managed correctly, or that goal is a little bit unrealistic for that day, and or things come up, conflicts come up, we are not prepared to actually execute that thing. And the main thing is we have the vices, we have the things that get in the way of us even having the habit in the first place. Because at the end of the day, why is it that you don't go to the gym? Why is it that you don't have good sleep hygiene? Why is it that you are emotionally eating? Why is it that you are not being that person when you know that these are the things that you should be doing? It's like we all know that we should be working out and eating right. Well, there's many reasons why we don't do that, and that is what you need to focus on. But let's go back to having the North Star before we talk about our conflicts. And I'll give you another example. During the month of October, all I wanted to do was get better sleep. So the only thing that I actually focused on was having everything done, dinner, cleaning my space, brushing my teeth, my skincare, all that kind of stuff, and getting off the couch and moving into my room, all that being done and like winding down around 8:30 so that I can move into bed at a decent time so that I can then slowly start to get to sleep earlier. I only focus on that, the 8:30 focus for the entire month. And not only did that make me feel less overwhelmed, I was able to actually focus on the small progression that I ended up having because I was only focused on technically like that one goal. But what ended up happening is not only did I start getting better sleep because that was my only focus, I started getting up earlier. And when I started getting up earlier, I was able to create room for new habits to be implemented, like drinking my water before caffeine, or now slowly starting to go into the gym. So you see how you just doing one habit and focusing on that one thing, it's gonna have a domino effect all the time. So you don't have to worry about doing 100 different habits because one habit usually leads to the other. And when you start to sleep well, you'll have more energy and then you'll have more motivation to go to the gym. And when you have more motivation to go to the gym and when you are starting to go to the gym, naturally you're gonna care more about eating clean because you just went to the gym, you just worked out. Like, why would I not like eat in a way that's good? Not to say that you might not have to have like some sort of North Star for eating and, you know, changing up your diet, but a lot of these things are domino effects. Now let's move into those conflicts. Like I said, you really need to sit down and write out your conflicts / your vices, or the things that are getting in the way of you going to sleep at 8:30, of you eating clean, of you launching your new business idea, because that is the focus that you actually need to have more than just, I need to get to sleep at 8:30. I had that North Star, but I also needed to look at the things that were making it impossible for me to wind down at 8:30. One of the things that I was working on this summer that I knew really affected my sleep was smoking cannabis. Now, I was not somebody who smoked it every day. It was like basically occasionally, but the effects that it still had on me, it always affected my sleep, and it even affected like the next few days because I was getting into like these ruts. It almost kind of made me feel the way that I felt when I used to binge eat and like overeat and things like that. And now I wasn't struggling with it to that extent, but I just knew that it was depleting my energy and it was absolutely affecting my sleep. Like, I do not sleep well when I am smoking any form of cannabis. Now, once I started to work on some of my vices and some of the things that were getting in the way of me actually executing my new habits that I wanted to implement, that's when I was really able to live out the me getting prepared for sleep at 8:30. Another example for my content, I have a vision of the type of content that I want to be creating, whether that's YouTube or short form, things like that. But there was a question I needed to ask myself as to what was getting in the way of me executing the vision that I had for myself. And of course, not to say that I don't have content that I'm putting out regularly. I am, even with my podcast, and I'm happy with that. But again, there's personal goals. And a few of those things were me not feeling motivated to film, and also having even like pieces of content, especially for short form, to even have to post, which would lead me to growing my business in all aspects. So I needed to think about, well, what is getting in the way of me feeling motivated to even post and create content? And also, what is getting in the way of me actually creating this content and executing it? And some of those things were, some days I wasn't getting ready and like looking my best and feeling my best, which translates personally for me as I don't want to be on camera. And some of the ways that I live my life is great content, and it doesn't mean that everything needs to be content, by the way, for content creators, but I have great content that I could be creating. But if I don't just put a little bit more effort into either how I'm looking or feeling, because that's how I want to show up on camera, or even just having some sort of plan in place, then of course, when I'm doing the thing and I'm like, oh, I should record this, I'm gonna say, no, I'm not gonna record it because I don't really look my best, even though I'm going to that Pilates class, which would be a great clip to add in my weekly reel, things like that. Or asking my boyfriend, asking my friends to take a photo of me when I am looking my best or whatever, so that I have pieces of content to put out to my audience. Another thing is for my business is I need help, and I finally got an assistant and I'm getting help, and I'm already seeing it pay off in the sense that we are consistently putting out podcast clips, which will allow the podcast to grow, which will help more people, which will grow my business as well. But I had to get out of my own way and get out of those thoughts that say, oh, like I can't find anyone, or it's gonna be too difficult to have somebody, or it's not gonna be worth it, or I can't do it. Like those beliefs, that was kind of like a belief thing that I was having when it came to things like getting help. So there's always that something that is getting in the way of you actually executing that habit. And it could literally just look like time management, when it comes to actually putting effort into your appearance or things like that. Or, okay, you want to be somebody who has their hair done, their nails done, their outfit's good. Well, that might mean you having to work on your finances and do a bit of budgeting and saving money so that you can finally have your dream wardrobe. Or, of course, like the big goals, you want a car, you want a new apartment. That's going to take you being good with your money and having a plan and potentially even seeing, well, if I stay in this job doing the same thing, is this gonna lead me to having the dream place in a year? Maybe not. Maybe that means I have to look for a new job. Maybe that means I have to up level my skills in order for me to get a higher paying job. Maybe that just means I have to ask for a raise. There's gonna be things that we need to push ourselves out of our comfort zones for so that we can step into these new identities, because that's really what it is. And once we can take a magnifying glass to those things alongside executing habits that are going to bring us closer to that North Star, that is a recipe for success. And that is what I've been doing. I have really worked on my sleep hygiene, and it took about a month and a half for me to do, but honestly, now I'm in such a better place, and that's already leading me to so many other habits naturally. And even when it comes to cannabis, it's actually funny. I ended up like smoking a bit of a joint last weekend after literally not having it for, I don't know, like a month and a half. And because I've been working on my sleep so much and I've been feeling so good, that just reminded me that it's not even worth it. I don't even want to go there. And I'm just genuinely in a new identity simply from just working on that one habit, that it's so much easier for me to say no to the other things and choose myself more. And when you start to slowly take baby steps towards that dream version of you, you're now going to the gym, you're now sleeping right, you're now doing those weekly meal preps, you are naturally going to want to keep doing more. So after you've written out a list of all the conflicts, all the things that can get in the way, whether that's your vices, your time management, your like lack of boundaries, you being afraid of saying something or asking and this, that, I would say every single month, so like moving into the month of November, choose your North Star. You know, you want to be that gym girl again, you want to start eating clean again, or you want to just start meal prepping. Maybe you're like already technically eat clean, you just need to like prep more, or you want to start saving money, whatever that is. And then alongside that, thinking about that one thing that's really, really getting in place of you actually being able to execute that goal, and focus on that until it gets flushed out. Don't worry about the million other things that you have on your vision board. Those are all gonna come true naturally. Now, I think this might be a whole separate video, but really thinking about the influences that you have in your life, like content, like music, where you're spending your time, things like that are gonna be super helpful. And I really lean on these things when I am trying to shift into a new identity. Your external world, and what I mean by that is what you're consuming and the people that you're around and the things that you're hearing and like your focus on, needs to be a reflection of what you've journaled and the person that you want to become. So the conversations, again, like the content, for me, when I'm focusing on something in my life, I like to really only watch the content that is kind of reflective of that, whether it's girls on their glow up journeys or they're talking about specific topics that I'm interested in. I'm talking about my goals to my friend, my boyfriend. I'm going on Pinterest a lot. I'm really taking a step back from the things that don't serve me and the things that distract me. I'm also leaning into music. That is definitely something that really gets me in a certain energy, which definitely check out my playlist on Spotify. I actually just made a new one at the gym today, which is just called Glow Up Season, and it just gets me in a certain energy and a vibe. But that's really all that I do, and I just focus on small baby steps every single month. I give myself a time frame, which is like this time next year. I like to look at things sometimes like that, this time next year, even though sometimes I'll have quarterly goals or monthly goals and things like that. But when it comes to a full-blown glow up transformation, this time next year, okay, I have my wellness, I have my business and career, and I have my lifestyle North Stars essentially. And every month I'm starting a fresh new month. Not every month is going to be perfect, of course, but every month, okay, looking at the month to come, what's my North Star for the month, and what is the thing that's getting in the way of me accomplishing that North Star? Let me work simultaneously on changing that and allowing everything else to fall in place. That is how I've always seen transformation transformation in my life. It's not every single day I look at my goals and I'm like, okay, I need to drink all my water, and I need to eat clean, and I need to move my body, and I need to make sure that I'm sleeping right, and I need to make sure that I'm doing my makeup and my hair, and I need to make sure that I'm being very productive today, and I'm having healthy relationships and healthy friendships, and I need to be making all these plans. Like, that's not, like, that will overwhelm you. I promise you that will overwhelm you. So focus on that one thing and everything else will follow. And by the time you hit this time next year, you will see a change and you will be embodied. And I think that's the biggest thing. We want to really live out these habit changes, not just change a habit for 3 days and then now you're like on to, okay, I need to like work on this goal that I have for myself. Like, take your time with things. You need more time than you think because things will come up and life is just not perfect. There are gonna be times where you gotta stay out late because you just have things that you wanna also do, or you messed up a little bit and now you gotta like reset yourself a bit more. But taking those baby steps is the most important thing. And also make it fun. Make your vision boards. I'm gonna leave this template down below so you can make your own. Go on Pinterest, take some time to think about this new version of yourself. Step into that world, and don't forget to subscribe because I'm going to be coming out with more videos on these types of topics to keep you guys focused and centered. I have a lot of things that I could talk about when it comes to like distractions, things that are getting in the way of you and your glow up. I want to talk about some of the things that have helped me prepare myself for this dream version of my life, which is technically like my future. Some of the things that I did to bring me to the place that I'm at now. Of course, let me know in the comments what you want to see, what you are currently working on when it comes to your dream life, a new version of yourself, whether that's mindset shifts, beliefs that you want to work on, different goals that you have for yourself. We're all on this journey together. We are definitely moving into lock-in season. So I'm here, I am ready for it. And I'm really excited to just transform. I feel like it's so fun to have goals and to be motivated and focused on changing and also just like enjoying life as well and thinking about that version of us that will be beautiful and amazing and just so successful in the next year. So with that said, that'll be everything and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.